θα πλούσουν πνεύματες και άτομες για την εποχή σε περίπτωση που κάποια στιγμή δεν μπορείτε να χρησιμοποιήσετε τον τόπο σου.
SCI-Arc was, is, and will be a kind of nest to breed partisans of architecture.
What I wanted to do was basically to use an icon to create an icon. So I studied the grid of Manhattan, and that basically generated the whole tower.
I was considering the global context of informational complexity we exist in, excess information, and how that affects the creative analytic processes when we consider building our built environment.
In taking a project that is entirely glass and trying to manipulate a material to work in almost every situation, it calls for unconventional uses of the material.
By decomposing the typical diagram of a building, and even further than that, decomposing the typical diagram of a podium tower typology, this thesis questions how levitated, slipping masses can start to create multiple artificial grounds that speculate a fuzzy, new urban typology.
I always think that thesis is not just the end of an academic career. Hopefully it's the beginning of a search and goes to an architect. So to get a chance to be exposed to discuss ideas with people who are ruthless in their intellectual point of view, I think is crucial.
Right now, the fact that cognitive power is more powerful than physical power, meaning like data is very valuable, and like that's something that we want to push forward because that's something that is manifest in other disciplines but not so much in architecture.
The work I'm seeing is quite special, having to do with the growth of the individual. There's a lot of discussion about representation, as there always is at this school, whether this is from VR to techniques of modeling, animation, drawing.
You could be standing one place and looking at a wall, and then through that wall you could see a world that's light years away.
Some of the really provocative themes that have come up this year are augmented reality, kind of how technological shifts are presenting us with new opportunities as architects.
The biggest issue with the thesis was trying to understand how the physical and the digital worlds, kind of that gap is bridged. How we occupy space now is very static and very real world. How we are going to be occupying space in the future is going to be this weird hybrid.
These figural elements concentrically radiate inwards, beginning from the island to the figural channel, to the plinth, to the building exteriors, and finally to the interiors.
And I think what's really interesting is the kind of in-depth research that you see in the projects, which investigates a lot more than just where we are going tomorrow, but potentially where we're going in the far future. The future is always now.
Focusing the thesis on doing projects, real projects, it forces the students to push disciplinary knowledge up against real situations.
You get these incredibly, not only demonstrations of competent student work, but also serious contributions to burgeoning disciplinary conversations.
I think that there's an interesting little sub-ripple among some of the students that is beginning to look at architectures for basically non-human users, what it means when certain aspects of authorship or occupancy start to become displaced.
If we're gonna have a kind of museum that demands museum circulation and museum paths, let's wall it in and let's really make it a kind of explicit, strange, different space than this kind of public arena of interaction and exchange.
The interior museum organization is based on my conceptualization of an unfolded enfilade. The museum is organized as a series of multi-dimensional, multi-axial rooms of differing volumes.
When they sneak out, they know more than other architects. They know how to develop concepts, they know the new technologies, and they know space. And this is their point of departure, here, now, and in the future.